Broadcast is live.
It's working now? All right, let's go. Ladies and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another installment of Jamore Interviews. I'm your host, Josh, aka Jamore, and today I am speaking with entrepreneur, former wrestler, voice actor, and just all-around awesome human being, the great and talented Brimstone. Can I get a rounding round of applause for this great man? Welcome.
What's going on, brother? How you been? You doing all right?
I'm doing okay. And
Look at that hat, brother. Jeez, look at you. Styling and profiling. Looking like you're about to start Mortal Kombating over there with the what's that? What's
I was
the
just about
character?
to say that. I look like Kung Lao. So that movie's coming out next week, which is crazy. I'm so excited for that movie.
I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest, but hey, we'll see.
Well, no. We have to know. We have to talk about it because, like I said, we're talking all things nerdy, wrestling, and just you in general. But if you're not excited for this Mortal Kombat movie, you're not a movie fan. Sorry.
Listen, I'm not saying that I'm not. Listen, I'm not excited for it. I'm not saying it's going to be awful, but I'm not excited for it because the thing is Mortal Kombat movies are similar to DC movies where they have all the potential in the world and then they wind up turning into crap. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm hoping for the best and I'm hoping that it's going to turn out, good. But, take it a step further. I only found out that it was coming out maybe like 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying?
Are you serious?
Yeah. So and I'm pretty much out there and I see lots of things and I hear lots of things. So for me to not know about it until like just a few weeks ago, it was, I mentioned it on Twitter. I was like, so wait, so there's a new Mortal Kombat movie coming out? Like, what's up with that? For me, I love Mortal. Don't get me wrong, I love Mortal Kombat. We've got it in our green room here at the Grindhouse Studios. We've got in our green room the Mortal Kombat machine. You know what I'm saying, and all that jazz from Arcade 1UP. Thank you, Arcade 1UP, for that. And so I essentially, I love Mortal Kombat. It's just we'll see what happens. That's all I got to say. We'll see what kind of garbage they spew.
Oh my God!
Okay. It looks okay. You know what I'm saying? But here it is. The old school Mortal Kombat movies. I was just listen. You're just happy because they came out with a movie. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that, and I agree. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, it's cool. But when now there's such a high expectation because they have the ability to do all the CG and so forth, and and there are good actors and good people available out there. So again, from what I saw, it looks like it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? But you won't know until you actually watch it. Am I making sense?
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan. Like, I just did a whole month dedicated to Mortal Kombat. Speaking of Mortal Kombat people, I spoke to my favorite Liu Kang voice actor. I spoke to my the best Raiden voice actor. I just spoke to a ton of people. I spoke to the new Cabal that's in the movie. Actually, really nice guy. Really, and Cabal looks amazing in the movie. I don't know if you've seen what he looks like, but
I have not seen it yet. I saw the first commercial for it like 2 days ago on TV. You know what I mean? Like whatever. Wait, what's today? Today's Tuesday. So yeah, on 13th. Sunday, because it was on during I think Fear the Walking Dead, and that was about it. Like I have not seen much except a little bit here, there, and again, it could be the best freaking movie ever, and it could suck. Like Mortal Kombat movies have sucked. Let's see. I can't even really. Yeah. It's not like.
Yeah, I'm getting new to the stream right now. I was gonna make a little intro saying, "Welcome to the new and improved Jamore Interviews." I have a microphone, as you can see, webcam, ring light in the back, and I'm just ready to go. I was really excited to test it out with you because, like I said, I'm really new to doing this on computer. Like previously, we did this on Instagram Live, and guys, This is a redo because I did not like the first one I did with him. I believe it deserves more. He deserves more respect, and that interview was not respectful at all. It was very bad. Not how we conducted it, but the connection was really bad, and I was just like, this is garbage. Like, this will only be on Instagram. No disrespect. I was really glad I got to meet you and talk to you because we met thanks to the amazing Tom Kane, who is always in my prayers, and I hope he's doing well with his battle going on over there. And yeah, I'm just really glad that you're on this new thing that I'm doing, and I'm really excited to design this and just go crazy. I'm so excited. So
Oh yeah,
I'm
man.
geeking out.
It's always nice to be able to work on your own stuff and build out your own dreams. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. You always got to work hard and put in 200% of your energy into something that's gonna benefit you in the long run. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think that that the norm is to go out to work a 9 to 5 and work for somebody else, and that's it. People don't understand the power that you have when you actually work for yourself and you're building your own brand and building your own business. So what do you call it? More power to you, brother. What do you call it? I'm glad that you're doing your thing.
Thank you so much. Like, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I have a special announcement this week, which I will tell you off air. I think you'll think it's pretty cool if
Cool.
you're familiar with it. But um, so I want to get into it. The stuff that I was gonna say. So some cool things. That before I get into all that, I'm all over the place. I just like to say thank you so much for agreeing to come back on and redoing
Yeah.
this. I'm really glad to have you on. It's been really great getting to know you. I've come to you with multiple stuff, trying to
Yeah.
get that business mindset. You've really helped me a lot. So I really thank you and really grateful for how you've helped me. And I'm just really glad that you're back on. And I hope you have a great time because a lot has changed since we've last spoke. I have added new things to the interviews. I conduct this differently, so I'm just really excited for you to see the new and improved me. So yeah, let's get into it.
Cool.
All
I'm
right,
here.
so so some things fans might not know about you is that you appeared on Sesame Street and Romper Room as a child actor. What was that like?
I mean, you're talking about, well, okay, so you're talking about 41 years ago at this point. I was 5 years old, and like I do remember certain things and certain aspects of both, more so Sesame Street than Romper Room. But I was a child actor, and my mother used to bring me out to the auditions and this, that, and the next thing, and Sesame Street was a lot of fun. Because I was infatuated with Sesame Street when I was a kid, and so to actually be there was just, I remember being mind blown. And what was really funny is that, I mean, a couple of the early memories of being on Sesame is one of the segments I did. What do you call it? Was with Maria, and if you guys know Maria, I don't know when, I don't think she's still on the show anymore. But Maria is one of the originals, and she was such a sweetheart, and they had a game that you would take off your shoes and you would throw them in a pile, which was on top of the Sesame Street grate. So what do you call it? The whole point was you find your shoes and you're supposed to put them on, tie the laces, and run off. Problem was is that everybody else had Velcro sneakers, the Velcro things, and my mother had insisted on giving me shoelaces, and I couldn't tie my shoelaces at that point. So what do you call it? So first, it took me forever to find my shoes because my one shoe was all the way at the bottom, and then I was sitting there and I couldn't freaking tie my shoes. So what do you call it? Maria, helped me tie my shoe, and I stood up and I ran the hell off, and that was one of the memories that I have that what do you call it stood out. And then another one was off screen. Was what do you call it? You had Big Bird, rest in peace, Carol Spinney, who was an absolute sweetheart. Pleasure to work with as a kid, and then a pleasure to work with and be friend again years later in our later lives. And what do you call Carol was he was just a true gentleman, very sweet guy, and I remember being backstage with my mother, and it was after we had filmed. And what do you call it? I all of a sudden Big Bird's walking up to us, and I'm like, "That's Big Bird! Big Bird's walking up to us! Oh my god!" Imagine 5 years old and the real Big Bird. You're on Sesame Street, you know what I mean? And here it is, and he comes over, and all of a sudden, like the people help him, and they lift off the top half of the outfit. You know what I mean? Because it's a big Muppet. You know what I mean? So they took the top half off, and I'm like, oh my god, they're killing Big Bird. And then I'm like, oh my god, there's a man inside Big Bird, and he's still talking in the Big Bird voice. And I'm going, oh my god, what's happening? It was like freaked me the hell out. So that I remember, and then I was just stunned, and he was sitting and talking to my mother, and then as he was finishing up, I was like just watching him, and I was looking up at him because he's 6 something feet tall, with the suit on, and what do you call it? I'm looking up, and there in the rafters, I saw Snuffy, and I was like, oh my god, Snuffy's dead. They killed Snuffy. what do you call these up in, so that was those are my earliest memories of Sesame Street, and I don't remember much of Romper Room whatsoever. I remember being in the room with the magic mirrors or something like that, and that was about it. But Sesame Street, I did remember a bunch of other things, and what's crazy is that like I would have loved at this point in my career, the fact that I'm well established and people know me now. I wanted to go back to Sesame Street and do something on Sesame Street, kind of give back and to be a part of it again. And I've never been able to work that out. But I did, something has changed obviously since the last time we spoke. Also, is I just took on a brand new management manager and agent, and we call it one that I have never had before. In terms of I've never had a mainstream TV and film agent before, so I'm now being represented. So that might change in the future in terms of getting back on and so forth. A lot of things have been going on behind the scenes. So knock on wood. Hopefully, things will be popping on that side of things real soon.
That's really awesome, and I'm really excited to hear what you got going on. It's always awesome to hear and see the new stuff you got going on. Um, Another thing that I didn't know because I went to your website and that because I did my research and I thought this was awesome, freaking awesome. I didn't even know this, but you were on the Touch and Go music video by Joe Budden. What
Yep,
was
button.
that experience like?
It was weird, So Button and I didn't know each other. I mean, we knew who. Obviously, I knew who he was, and he knew who I was. And I just happened to be in Manhattan. I was doing some kind of an appearance, and what do you call it? Somebody had what do you call what's up, Kim? What do you call it's my co-host for Grindhouse Radio, Kim and Dragna. Make sure you follow her, guys. What do you call it? Anyway, so I was in Manhattan, and they were like, hey, can you come by and do a quick cameo? I'm like, all right, what's going on? What do who is it? What are you talking about? And they're like, it's for Joe Budden. I was like, Joe Budden? Oh, he's pretty freaking badass. He's a great rapper, man. And because I come from old school hip hop. I grew up in Uniondale, New York. It's all rap. So like I I'm very well versed in that world. And that being said, I was like, sure, let's do it. So I came down. I and what do you call it? They had a VIP scene, and so they had me in the VIP scene, and then in the what do you call it in the crowd. They put me in the center of the crowd. Just quick shots, just a couple of quick shots. It's like if you blink your eye, you're not going to see it. But I was there for a few hours, hanging out with him and some of the other people that they had doing the guest thing, and that was it. I mean, it was just like I said, it literally a cameo, a quick thing, and I haven't seen or spoken to Budden since, but I respect his work. You know what I'm saying? Like, the thing is in entertainment, you know what I mean. Everybody's like a ship in the night, so sometimes you have the opportunity to make a true connection and you stay friends and friendly with people, for many years. Other people, you when you see them, oh hey, what's going on, and you love seeing them and so forth, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's not like where you're calling each other every week just to see how you're doing. You know what I mean? So I'm blessed to have a lot of those people in my life. But what do you call it? At the end of the day, Button was not one of them. But it was a lot of fun to go do the video. You know what I mean? And being there for a couple hours, and having the opportunity to go and see that whole thing unfold. It's fun. You know what I'm saying? It was fun.
That's really awesome. I was about to ask you, do you like, are you still in touch with Joe? And do you
No,
still like
no,
talk to him? Yeah.
no.
I was,
I was gonna reach out to him not too long ago. What do you call it to see if he'd be interested in coming on and doing the show, but he's got so many other things going on. I don't have his direct contact anymore. My old phone I wound up losing, and I lost a whole bunch of contacts. But no, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not losing sleep over it. But if we ever do cross paths again, it'd be nice to connect. And I'm the kind of guy that likes to meet as many people as possible, enjoy life. You know what I mean? Enjoy learning about what other people do, and it's just part of entertainment and part of life and part of entrepreneurial. Anything entrepreneurial is having those building blocks and the people around you that are whether they're supporters or they're people that are working with you or they're fans or you know what I mean. It's having those that support system around you never hurts. So for me, I like to make sure to meet new people and befriend new people, and most of the time it lasts because I'm authentic.
It's always good to have an authentic figure in this industry, of course, and just in general. So it's always important to remain to your true self. To go back to you talking about like New York rappers, I just want to say, real quick, rest in peace to DMX. That was tough on me because like I love that man like a lot. Like
Yeah,
that was a legend. I remember me and my father. Rest in peace to my father too. We listened to DMX. Let's talk about it, and man,
yeah.
that's a true icon right there.
Well, drugs, hell of a thing, man. What do you call it? A lot of people get involved in things, and they have they have their demons, and it's awful. I've seen some of the most talented people, get stuck in this whirlwind that is what do you call it? The heavy drugs and hardcore drugs, and it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Every time you're doing something like that, you're rolling the dice. And I'm not saying, anything other than that. The fact is, DMX was one of the most talented freaking hip hop people that had ever been. One of the most unique rappers that ever graced the circuit. You know what I mean? So, and he's from the hometown. You know what I'm saying? So he's from here. He's New York. So the fact is that it really sucks that and the fact that his life was cut so short, you know it's like the whole, like Tupac and Biggie, and but they were taken out in a different way. Life is short to begin with. When you throw in gang warfare, or you throw in drugs, or like just so many different things that just it could just cut your career short and then cut your life short. And unfortunately, here we are, another legend gone. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, no, you are definitely. I'm a high school student, so I know tons of people who
Yeah.
do that stuff, and I see the effects on them and how I talk to them, and I'm just like, wow, like a lot has changed, stuff
And
like
it's
that.
not just hip hop artists. Obviously it's you've got musicians in general, radio people, TV people, you know what I mean, models. Everybody is afflicted with something. Everybody's got something going on. You might not know about it, I might not know about it, the world might not know about it, but sure as hell something is going on. So it's you never know what somebody else is dealing with. So it's just, unfortunately, entertainment, you know what I mean, it's such a cruel world, you know what I mean, because you're always being looked at, you know what I mean, in a good way, in a bad way, in good ways, bad ways. There's always somebody's looking at you, and they're staring at you, and they're literally ripping you to shreds. And you fart in the wrong direction, and somebody has something to say about it, you know what I mean. So, like, when you're under the spotlight like that, and you're under a microscope, um people, even though they're in such a wonderful place in their business, on the their personal life side, in their personal life side, it makes things a little more difficult, because look, we're just real people, we're regular people just like you know what I mean. And some people, they can't, they don't know how to cope with some of the things that happen, or the having that tough skin to be you know um turned down time after time after time again, and what do you call it, or be harassed by media. And there's so many different aspects of why people turn to the things that they do. And I know, look, I have a lot of friends that I've worked, and I won't name names, but a lot of friends, very big names, that I've helped through some rough times. You know what I mean? Because of rough patches, and once you're addicted, it's very difficult to stop. So I don't know exactly what it was that DMX, OD'd on, but obviously it was not something that was, wasn't weed. You know what I mean? So it was obviously something. And then he just couldn't pull through, and it's a shame, and we lost an icon. So that being said, hopefully people will learn from it.
That's all you can hope for, and much blessings to him and his family. But to switch to a lighter note, this was really cool. That I also found out about you is that you originally wanted to be a comic book artist. So what made you want to get into comic books?
So when I was a kid, um, one of the things that I loved like GI Joe was like one of my big things. Funny enough, I'm very close with Ray Park now, who was Snake Eyes. So but for me, like Snake Eyes was like my character. Like I loved Snake Eyes. I loved GI Joe, and I was really heavy into the GI Joe comics. And then from the comics, those comics I went into like Marvel and the X-Men. Just really, I fell in such love with the X-Men, mainly the Beast. The Beast is my all-time favorite character. And that was my nickname when I was a kid. I was the Beast. You know what I mean? And then when I was started dabbling in rap when I was younger, I was like the Beast, which was silly as all hell. But what do you call it? When you're a kid, you don't think about that. It's like and it worked because my real name is Will, so it was Will the Beast. So Will the Beast, Will the Beast. Anyway.
Oh,
So what do you call it? So that was so it was somewhat clever, but so ridiculous at the same time. At the end of the day, Brimstone I think is a much better name. That being said, um, for me, I used to love all the characters and the characters being larger than life. And I would sit and I would draw, and I had like a couple hundred different characters that I drew, and I would sit there and just I was working on the trade, and I remember one of the books I put together. I don't even know where it is at this point, but it was the Splatterpunks on Acid is what we called them, and it was a group of like six anti-heroes, and I had a whole bunch of other characters that were like the cooler characters that I really loved, and it was just it was awesome times. But I was a kid, and I wound up going to school, and I wound up falling in love with drumming. And then when I started drumming, that became my love. That and girls. And what do you call it? I mean, listen. At the end of the day, I was a ladies' guy when I was younger. And what do you call it? The girls or comic books. You know what I'm saying? But full circle type of a deal. Then years later, I wound up putting out Brimstone and the Border Hounds. I didn't draw it, but the concept and all the characters. So I did come full circle in the career, and I did go back to comic books, and I am the celebrity spokesperson for the Stan Lee Foundation. Stan was a friend of mine, and what he called. So that was everything did come full circle. So yeah, and with the GI Joe thing, that I'm very close with Ray Park, is a good friend, and not to name drop, but I mean that's a full circle moment. So yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, Red Park is Snake Eyes, Darth Maul, like really cool. That's really dope that you got to yeah. Snake Eyes is a really cool character. I'm excited for the movie that they're apparently making like a spin-off Snake Eyes movie, but we haven't heard anything like from it yet. But I'm excited for that.
Oh, I didn't hear anything about that, but that could be why I haven't heard from him. What do you call it? Usually we talk at least once every week, once every couple of weeks, and for the last month or so, that's been quiet. It could be because he's traveling, or it could be because he's filming and not telling me. So I'm going to find out, Ray. I'm going to find out. I'm going to whoop your ass if I find out that you're doing something that I should know about that I wouldn't be able to know about because I understand the NDA thing. Well, it was the craziest thing. So GHR was doing the what do you call it? The solo movie premiere. So we wound up doing like a big thing on Long Island, where we're from, and it was crazy because here we are. We're like, all right, well, solo, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, Darth Maul comes on the screen. It's like that son of a bitch. You didn't even tell. I got up in the middle of the theater and started yelling at the screen, and I called him, and he's laughing on the phone. I'm like, I can't believe you didn't tell me. He's like, brother, I didn't tell anybody. I'm like, no, you didn't tell me this. I'm very upset with you. And then what he called Daniel Logan, who's young Boba Fett, and they're very close as well. And Dan and I are very close. And he says to me, he didn't tell me either. It's like I didn't know either, son of a bitch. Um, but again, it's NDAs, and you got to keep it, especially in Star Wars universe. You got to keep things quiet, because everybody wants to find things out. So to try to keep things quiet, and they keep it under NDAs, under wraps, and that's just the business. I'm under I have so many NDAs right now that I can't talk about certain things that would spin your head. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Yeah, NDAs are a tricky thing. I remember I was talking to, I believe it was David Sobolov, who is the voice of Shockwave and Transformers Prime, and a bunch of really good Grodd. If you watch The Flash, he's in that. And he was talking about an NDA one time that he had. I'm pretty sure it was an NDA. He was like, I think it was like for World of Warcraft or something like that. And he said in the NDA, he was like, they said, if you speak about this at all, you owe us $2 million. So don't speak on it, or you owe us $2 million.
Yeah.
So NDAs are very tricky and very something that you want to be very careful about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen an artist. I remember he was talking about like working on a Nintendo game, and he wasn't supposed to talk about it, and he got fired immediately. Like he was done. Like he didn't. He
Oh
got in
yeah.
a ton of trouble for that.
And
And
Nintendo is very harsh. Nintendo's very they are very harsh on their NDAs.
yeah, he got fired, and it was like a big controversy. And I think he also said something dumb, so like that didn't help his case either. So he got in a ton of trouble, but I don't remember who it was. But my first question to you is, how would you say your childhood has affected your career decisions?
Well, I mean, I came from a lower class area. What do you call it? It was my I lived with my mother. We were in what do you call it? We were in Uniondale, New York, which is like lower to middle class. And then my father, because my parents were divorced, was in Dix Hills, New York, which was like very upper class. So I had the best of and the worst of everything. And don't get me wrong, I rolled with everybody, and I was happy being in Uniondale. It was actually uncomfortable for me to be in the richer area. I liked just being authentic me. I tend to find a lot of people that have grown up with a silver spoon in their mouth to be overwhelmingly annoying. Because they don't understand what it's like to work. For everything for your entire life. You know what I
Right.
mean? And don't get me, I do very well. You know what I mean? So like, but I worked for that. You know what I mean? There's some people that they trust fund babies or and so forth, and they when you come from money, it's easy to make money. You know what I mean? So what do you call it? That's a fact. So the thing that I learned at an early age is I learned the best of and the worst of and like so I had the best of both worlds. And so I was a young kid sitting and fighting and scrapping in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And being the only white kid out there, and then flipping and going to Whitey White Town. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like, all right, well, this is interesting. Where but what the one thing that is still the same, going back to the whole DMX thing, is what do you call it? Drugs are everywhere. The bad things are everywhere. What do you call it? They're just paying more for them in certain areas. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? Like it's all the same. It's just how much money is going around. But that being said, my mother always taught me to give back. She was the mother in the area. I actually spoke about this earlier on a different interview that I did. I had 3 interviews today, you being one of them. And what do you call it? The one earlier, and I spoke to them about like just my mother was the person that everybody knew in the neighborhood. They all knew her. She was the woman that she always had the not like the crazy lady giving out candy, but they were people that were friends of mine and so forth. They'd come over, and she was the candy lady that she'd always take care of the kids. And what do you call it? Oh, you didn't have something, the typical Jewish mother. You didn't. Oh, you need something to eat? I'll make you a sandwich. Or like she was always very very good. To everybody in the neighborhood. And you know, that being said, what do you call it? Like that gave me, she always taught me, always give back to the people who don't have, even though we don't might not have much. You got to give back to those people, as well. What do you call it? Even if you don't have to give back, you should always, try to give back. And what do you call it? I learned a lot from that. And then, my father, was very very big, on sales. He's life insurance and so forth. And he taught me the importance of sales and marketing and so forth. And and I basically learned, from my upbringing, how to be a good person and how to sell and market myself. So I think that really did shape my future career, because when I was starting just in music in general, I knew like, all right, well, we have to have something that's brandable. We need to do something that's that we can market. And music was very successful, I was the drummer though, so I was in the background. You know what I mean? I was in the background, but I was always at the forefront. You know what I mean? Everybody knew me. So where they could, they didn't necessarily know all the other members of the band, they always knew me, and I made it a fact for them to know me. You know what I mean? Because it's not about what you know; it's about who you know. You know what I mean? Um, but you also have to have talent to make sure to get to that next level. So don't think it's just a fun fest of meeting everybody that's important and then thinking you're going to do something. You still have to be good at what you're doing. You know what I mean? So a lot of people like to fake it till they make it, but it doesn't work that way in real life. But anyways, so yeah, that kind of shaped my future. Like I said, I wound up knowing both like tremendous like different sides of rich and poor slash middle class, and it was important. Hey, what's going on, Sherry? What do you call it? It was very important for me to learn. You know what I mean? And the positive is from there. I continue to grow and build, and now years later, I do a ton of charity work. I do a ton of things to give back. We won a 2020. We were awarded with the 2020 New York State Senate Empire Award, which is the highest award you can receive from New York State as a business. What do you call it? So Grindhouse Radio won that award from for our charitable work that we did, especially during the pandemic or the beginning of the pandemic. We just both won. Grindhouse Radio and myself personally won 2021 Platinum Communitas Awards, which is also for giving back and so forth. So we don't do this. We don't do this for the accolades. Like, we don't give back for the accolades. We give back because it's the right thing to do. It's just an awesome thing that somebody does see it, and they did appreciate the work that we put in. Most of the time, it's not there. You know what I mean? Most of the time, you do it because it's the right thing to do. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, making it you. I always try to give back. It's very important because I don't like seeing people in. Um, I don't like seeing people in down positions or like sad or upset or hurt. I try to do what I can to make people feel good or give them as much love and help and affection as I can because this
Of
world
course,
is cool. It is cruel. And there's a ton of stuff that goes on in people's lives that you don't know about, and there's a ton of stuff that you're just like, oh my God, did you hear about that? Like, there's so much going on, and we're gonna definitely talk about it to the near end with the question I always ask my guests. But it's always important to be kind and to give back and to just let people know that you're there and that you're
yeah,
listening and that you genuinely care and that it's not fake and that you're
yeah,
just doing it to do it. Like, be genuine with what you do, and
yeah,
that just goes back to being an authentic person and leaving an impression on people. And those fake it till you make it people, don't usually make it all the way to the top, because they faked it. They don't have a lot. They don't have the authenticity to them. They have a lot of fake, like, stuff about them that makes them not seem real, and
right.
they won't make it far, and it definitely shows 100% of the time. So that's just my little spiel on that, and
Of
just how
course,
I
of course.
view the world and how you should treat people. And I think it's really awesome that you guys have gotten those awards and stuff like that, and that you guys are still staying humble and doing your thing and making content for people that most definitely helps so many people who listen to it get a laugh or just learn something new, which is always cool to learn something new and just have that knowledge and just
Yeah,
gauge in what you're listening to. So that's really, really awesome that you guys got that. So,
absolutely. And by the way, everybody, I'm so sorry if I sound a little nasally, whatever. My allergies are going crazy right now,
oh,
so I'm
preach
like
it to the
I'm
choir,
all
because
stuffed right here. So just so if
preach
you
it to the
guys are if you
choir.
guys are listening and you hear me like, that's why. What do you call it? I apologize. Hello Magenta, hello Sherry. What do you call it? There's people talking in the comments, so
Yeah.
whatever I see, I'm just trying to say hello. So go ahead. What's the next question?
Now we're gonna transition into your music thing, which when I was watching an interview you did, I don't, who was it? I watched it before we got on, but I believe you were talking about, oh God, you were talking about how in the music you did a lot of it, like you said, your father taught you early on about the importance of marketing yourself and sales and stuff, and that you how you really helped the band. So just talk a little bit about like your time making music and that experience.
Mm. Um, Listen, music has always been a very big love of mine, and I love drumming. I love singing. I play a little piano, very little, percussion, the whole nine yards. I went to school for music. I didn't graduate college because I wound up going and I was playing in music. So, um, you know, my thing is that like I just enjoy creating. I don't, no matter what it is. If you notice anything about my career, it's always about creating. I am a very creative person. I like to continuously create, and everything I do is to build a legacy, uh something that people are going to remember. They look back and they go, that guy was great, and he pioneered this, or he did that, and he accomplished this, and he was a real cat. You know what I mean? Like, so that's for me. It's very important. It's leaving that legacy. So, yeah, man. What do you call it? Music? I knew everybody. That was my thing. I knew it had to be marketable. I knew that I had to make sure that I had connections with everybody that, would be beneficial to whatever bands I was playing in. So I did like 98% of the booking. I booked the bands where, my bands wherever we played. What do you call it? On the rare occasion somebody else wound up booking it. You know what I mean? That was like I was like, oh, okay, good job, but for the most part, I was the one that was getting us booked, and I was the one that was getting us paid. And in terms of the what do you call it, the media, like I knew a bunch of the media then. And what do you call it? That's very important because essentially, you have to be seen to be heard. You know what I mean? As weird as that sounds, you got to be seen to be heard. And just still to this day, doesn't matter how many followers I have, how many people that listen to me on air, how many people watch or play the games that I'm in, or that doesn't make a difference. You still need to continuously be out there and meeting with new people and gaining new followers and new fans. Because it it never ends. You know what I'm saying? And so like back then with music, it was the same thing. Like, and I actually was blessed enough to have a good portion of the people that followed me in music followed me over into wrestling. You know what I mean? When I went to pro wrestling, and then from pro wrestling, people followed me over into acting and all that jazz and the comic books, and then later on coming in and supporting GHR. So it's a real important thing that when you're out there, if you're building a brand, to make sure you're connecting with people. You have to connect with people, not just people that are going to do something for you, but people that are in the general public that will support you and watch what you're doing and care about what you're doing. One of the craziest things is, and I just posted something, and I've been seeing it around. It's something that I was going to post like a long time ago, but people actually have put it out there, and I just posted something, last night. And it's very simple. It's like, people are like, oh, I support you, and yeah, I'm so proud of you, and I love everything you're doing, Mister Brimstone. Everything you're doing is fantastic, and oh my god, and I love it, I love it. But then you're not liking any of the stuff. You're not commenting on the stuff. You're not sharing the stuff. You're not sitting and supporting anything. It doesn't cost anything to support, guys. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing worse than saying you support somebody and then scrolling right past something on social media. If you're following somebody and you're a friend or you're a supporter or something, like, do more than just like it, comment, save. You know what I mean? Share. You know what I mean? And this is, people don't realize how much and how far that goes, especially in today's environment. So like I'm not asking you. I would love it if you buy my shirts or buy my products and so forth. That's great. Yes, that's how I make my living. You know what I mean? But if you can't, if it's hard for you to swing something, it costs you nothing to like something. You know what I mean? It costs you nothing to leave a comment. DMing me, great. Thank you so much for DMing me. I appreciate that. Thank you for the love. I love you sending me hearts. But people don't see that. They see how many numbers are on Instagram. You know what I mean? So, like I am very engaging. I like to speak to every single person that hits my page. I know you've been to my page plenty. And and am I wrong? I comment back to every single person that's on there. And not only do I comment back, I have conversations with everybody because I'm authentic. And I like to keep it that way. You're not getting somebody who's an assistant, or you're not getting my wife, you're getting me directly. So what do you call it? Like for me, like engagement is 100% of the game. So people, like consider that. Like if you support somebody, support them. You don't have to sit and go ham. You don't have to sit and share every single thing. You don't have to, buy all my products. I know I have a lot out there. You don't have to do that. But a like and a comment and an occasional share is greatly appreciated.
Hey,
Sherry, everything is social media now. I love supporting friends. Thank you very much, Sherry. We appreciate that. Sherry is
yeah,
one of my top ambassadors from what do you call it? The what do you call it? Team Brimstone, and I have an amazing crew. We have about 30 members in Team Brimstone, which were all hand selected, and they're all some of the top fans, and who have all become friends of mine. What do you call it? And they help me out tremendously. Whether that's reaching out to people or doing the things that I do. They've been very, very essential, and they're fantastic. And anybody who is interested in joining Team Brimstone, what do you call it? There is a vetting process and so forth. But if you go to therealbrimstone.com under contact, you'll see in the if you hover, it says Team Brimstone. You go on there, you can apply right on the site. That goes to my lead ambassadors, and they handle it. And it's not the ambassador thing where you go in and get a code crap. No, this is people that are actually involved, and they get private time with me if they have questions. We will. I try to help them out. What do you call it? I occasionally will post their stuff or reshare their stuff, and we all support each other. You know what I mean? And that's the way it works. We play games. We do private chats and so forth, and we'll get on and we'll play what do you call it games together. You know what I mean? So we have a good time. What do you call
yeah.
it? Yeah,
What I was gonna talk about with the social media thing is how, like, yeah, it's very important to like and share, especially on like Instagram. It's likes aren't as important
no,
anymore, and it's more sharing and commenting. And the new save thing, if you guys know what the save thing is, that's that little it looks like an envelope on the side. If you click it, it saves it to your thing,
yeah,
and it's really important for engagement. And I don't know if you've seen my post on my page, but I posted like, dang, like Instagram changed the algorithm so much, and it's like that's why a lot of my favorite content creators, like smaller, have just like dropped, because Instagram changes so much. It changes its rules. It changes like what you have to do. So much of what you do, and it's
yeah,
really unfortunate how people don't show love or support like that. And
no.
sometimes it is just discouraging
Well, it's
for a lot of
disheartening. It's
yeah.
disheartening. Well, here it is that, like everybody always likes to think, all right, my family and my friends are going to help me and they're going to support me. And bro, it's not that way. So and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but, like the people that you're closest with, they're not the ones that are necessarily supporting and helping you. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Like, how many people are in your family? How many people? Just here, perfect example. In the comments and so forth. Like, how many people do you know, and how many people are on your friends list that you're personal friends with, that you've gone to school with or you work with in your family? How many people are sitting and watching it? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and I'm not saying that I'm just saying in general. I gist of things. It's like, you know, they know that this is what you're doing and trying to push and promote. So, follow, watch, see something, make a comment. You know what I mean? Get involved. It's not difficult, but they're not usually the ones that are out there helping because they don't understand because they're not doing what you do. You
Yeah,
know
they're
what I mean?
not they're not in the world, and it's
Right,
what we're talking about is foreign. You know what I mean?
right.
Like the algorithm and liking and like telling them what's more important. It's like is foreign. Like they don't know what I'm
They don't
talking
care.
about. I could be speaking gibberish to them, and they're like, okay, they wouldn't get
They
it.
don't care. They're like, all
So
right, I just want to see what you ate for lunch yesterday. You know what I mean?
right,
Like,
it's
and that's cool. And that's cool too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I post that stuff too on stories and whatever. Embry says J Mo in the cut. J Mo, what's going on? Embry, let's go. That's what I'm talking
so
about.
yeah,
Gotta
it's
show some
it's
love.
it's really foreign to a lot of people, and I wish people like would understand where a lot of us are coming from. But maybe one day, right? But
You know,
my next, oh yeah,
just
go ahead.
people support. That's it. If you say you support, throw a like. You know what I mean? Like I have like 100 people in my family. I see like one or two people every once in a while liking stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I know that's not where everybody likes to think that your family is your support system. And I love my family, don't get me wrong. It's nothing against them. They don't have to. It's not their job to do that. But when you're getting into stuff, you're like, all right, well, I'm definitely going to have, this many people are going to support and so forth. And then they just, I don't want to give like, I want people to be realistic about it if they're looking to get into the industry.
Right, that's I completely agree. But I was gonna ask, like, why didn't you continue with the music? Like, what happened there for people who don't know?
I got sick of a five-way marriage. I mean, plain and simple. When you're in a band, you're in a four-way, five-way, three-way marriage. And for somebody who's been married twice, what do you call it? Although my current wife I've been with for almost 20 years. What do you call it? So, and I love my wife. So, the fact is that being in a one-way marriage is difficult enough. You know what I'm saying? When you're going into it, you're with partners. Kim. I don't know if Kim's still in here, even with Grindhouse Radio, I have three partners, aside from myself, so there's four of us. And even that, there's different, ideas and this and that and the next thing. And, so it's hard sometimes to be in that kind of a situation. You know what I mean? And you have to be able to work with that. Thankfully in GHR, we're all kind of on the same page and we all kind of have the same direction plan, with slight differences here and there. But what do you call it? Like with the old bands, you got one person that wants to rule the world, you know what I mean, and then others want to just live in a van and play, you know, you know, gig to gig and live in a van, and that's not what I wanted to do. Like I'm very open about that. Like I love drumming, and I'd still love to be playing. I was still involved in drumming. I did like hosted a bunch of drum fights and so forth, even as a wrestler. In my later years, and I'm still very friendly with a ton of musicians, and still connecting with new ones all the time. And there are things in the works. Doesn't mean that something's going to happen tomorrow, but like there are things that have been discussed. So yeah, I would love to still be doing music. At this point, I'm just, I was done with five-way marriage, and I was like, let me do something different, and that's when I wound up getting into pro wrestling, and the rest is history at this point. Oh, Kim is here. She says, "I'm here. I'm here. I love
So
you, Kim, as much as you drive me nuts." No, I'm just kidding. She's she's my little
that's
bubbly.
how it is. That's how it is when you're working with a set of people.
No, listen. She was my work wife until she started getting with Tom Greer. So now they're a couple. So now they outnumber me. That's a problem. No, so what do you call it? But I love them to death. They're my family. You know what I mean? Like we've been
Right.
together for 6 years. They outlasted everybody else that I've ever partnered with. So they're winners, or maybe I'm the winner. I don't know. Either way, what do you call it? But she's great. Greer is great. What do you call it? Zambo's cool. Like everybody that we have as a part of GHR is just they're good people, and we've got a good team, and very blessed about that. Yeah, and we just did, as Kim said, we just did our 300th episode last night. So what do you call it? Our 300th episode will air on Thursday, and it was an epic episode. We actually have Harley Morenstein from Epic Mealtime came on and hung with us. So we did a special 2 segment deal with him, and yeah, it's definitely a show to pay attention to. So yeah, that was a good one. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah,
I
300 episodes with Bombalina. What do you call it?
that's really
Yeah,
dope that you guys got to get him on. Like that's so cool. Like I just recently reached a year of me doing this, so it's really crazy to see how. Yeah, I freaked out. I was like, "What? That's crazy." But
yeah,
I just reached a year. Last the ninth Friday, I reached a year of me doing this. So it's
yeah.
so crazy to see everyone's achievements and how far they've come and what they're doing and what they got next. Like that's so awesome that you guys reached 300. Like, oh my god! Like, could you? Oh my goodness, I couldn't imagine. I mean, well, nowadays I could imagine, but back when I first started, I couldn't even imagine doing 300 episodes
Oh
or
yeah.
even 60 or 50, let alone, you know what, 10. I didn't even think I'd get past 10, but I'm here and I'm still doing it. It's so crazy. Like, I mean, how far did you think you would get when starting out first?
What for the grindhouse?
Hmm.
All right. Well, look, anything I do, you always want to get into it and be like, all right, this is gonna last forever. But what do you call it? With grindhouse, I mean, I like to talk. I always wanted to do a show, and it just so happened that what do you call it? When I was doing Hound Comics, when I had the corporate office, like I just happened to have Kim and Zambo wound up interning for me, and they had history in radio, and I was considering doing a show on one of the local AM FM stations. But every time everybody I spoke to, even though I had connections and they all supposedly loved me, it was crickets and nothing ever happened. So I was like, all right, and then these two came in and we sat around the microphone. We're like, this works. This is magic, man. This is cool. So we started it, and look, anything that I get into is I consider it, a business. It's got to be run like a business. And people are like, oh, it's just a podcast and whatever. Okay, well, how many other podcasts that that are making the money that we make and that are doing the things that we do? I mean, this is a first poll. You guys get a sneak peek. This is not the finished version, but this is a first poll from one of the collectibles. What do you call it? Which is going to be all in color and everything. One of the vinyl collectibles. um, what do you call it? That has won as many awards, given as many citations, and has their own office, corporate office, studio, green room, and the people that we bring on. If you can show me somebody who's doing what we're doing, that's not a bigger name than I am, and you know what I mean, and has that all built in, I'll be impressed. You know what I mean? And there are a few people that are doing it, but they're very scarce, and they're not necessarily doing the things we're doing. So the fact is we did it the right way. And what do you call it? But we work hard. We work very hard. It's not easy. People think, oh, it's easy. Oh, it's not a problem. No, guess what, people? It's a lot of work. So now try doing that and balancing your own personal brand when you've got sauces coming out and other products and what do you call it, needing to do content and then making your endorsements happy and touring and then put a family on top of that. And I have a wife and three kids. Now put that on top of that, and you tell me how much you're going to get done and get accomplished. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a lot of work, and and I bust my ass. But our team is great, and we have a great product. And I think that's what has given the longevity is the relationship between everybody involved, and the fact that we work twice as hard, if not three times harder than anybody else out there. You know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah. I mean completely. I mean I'm doing my own thing. Like I have school and then I have stuff I want to do on my own time. Like I want to practice guitar and then I want to balance that and then I graduate in a month, which is crazy to think about. It feels like I started high
Mm.
school like freaking yesterday, but I graduate soon. And I'm getting new equipment and I'm trying to set that up. So like it's a lot to like balance and deal and like make good and make a great good product that people are going to love and want to come back to time and time again. And
Right.
editing, oh my god, don't let me get started on editing because that is
Yeah.
such a pain sometimes. Like I love making them look good and sound good. Like I'm gonna edit this and make it sound crisp and good and add all the bells and whistles to it. But
Yeah.
you just sometimes you get so tired of it. You know, you're in the middle of editing or cutting something together, then your head starts hurting, or you're just like, man, I'm getting tired of staring at the screen and doing the same thing for like 30 minutes to like an hour or 2 hours plus, depending on the length of the video, because some people might get it messed up because our video, like you're doing our video, this is going to be an hour. It's going to take me like 2 hours, 2:30 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes to edit. Like it takes so much time to get right. You want everything to be good and sound great, and it takes so much out of you. Like sometimes I just damn was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm so tired. I just want to go get something to eat, but I have to edit this so it comes out in a timely manner where people still care about it. You know what I mean?
Right. 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 Yeah. I have the luxury of having my partners are all gurus when it comes to all that stuff. So like Greer and Zambo do a very good portion of the editing, and then we have our engineer Alex DePonte who does a bunch of the editing. He does all the editing on within Brimskin, which is my rant show. And what do you call it? And then I mean, Tom is a beast. He's been doing truly inconsequential. He does all the stuff for Live and Uncut for GHR, and he also does Magic Kim Tom that him and Kim do, talking about the what do you call it? Disney and Pixar and stuff like that. And that's not even counting the stuff he does for GHR. You know what I mean? So like, he's a beast. You know what I mean? He's a beast. And then Alex does like a very large portion, if not all of it. He does at least 98% of my vocal work in terms of when I'm doing anything internally, doing voice work. Like what he call he's that's that Alex and I have a very very good relationship. Um, and we have a very good working thing going where he knows how I like to be portrayed and how he's incredible. He'll go in there and picks like a breath out that you'd never heard, but he's an audiophile. You know what I'm saying? So but I sit here and like with him, like when we're editing stuff, like I'll try to listen and help out and so forth. But you can't sleep on editors, man. Can't sleep on them. They're beasts, man. They're beasts.
Absolutely. It takes a
Yeah.
lot of time. But
I don't even want. I kind of want to learn, but I don't want to do any of that crap.
and be honest.
But but on the flip,
Yeah.
in all fairness, I do a good portion of the business. You know what I mean? So that's my role. You know what I mean? I do a lot of the business. I do a lot of the what do you call it? The branding. I do the website. And yeah, everybody helps out. Like Kim helps out and that stuff, as does Greer. But like that, everybody has their function within the company. Kim does a lot of the PR. She does a lot of social. So there's everybody kind of has their little place. And then we all kind of like tumble in and branch over onto everything else.
I want to talk more
Essential.
about yeah. I want to talk about your wrestling because this is really interesting. I used to be a big wrestling fan when I was a little kid. I remember I'd watch like Wizards of Waverly Place, and then Disney was like 10-minute commercial break, and then I switched over like directly to like WWE and just watch that and digest it. And then when they went on break, I had to go back, and then it wasn't even Wizards of Waverly Place because the matches were so long, the rounds were so long, so I missed the whole episode of that.
Uh,
I remember those are some of my most fondest memories as a kid. I have so many fond memories I could go on for days about. But what interests you the most about the wrestling business?
um, I love the physicality of things. You know what I mean? I loved being able to go in there and and actually get some aggression out and so forth. And I also like the what do you call it? The entertainment value, man. Like there's nothing like going out there and just like working a crowd, man. I love being able to work a crowd. I love being able to go out there and make people feel something. You know what I mean? You're good. You can make them yell. You can make them scream. You can make them cry. You make them laugh. You make them cheer. You make them boo. As long as there's a reaction, you're doing your job. You know what I mean? So that was my thing. Like I love the theatrics and I love the physicality of it. Like the guys that I loved growing up. Guys like The Undertaker and Ultimate Warrior. What do you call it? And people like that. Just and Shawn Michaels and guys that I'm friendly with. Later on in life. Like these guys just changed the way that the business was. I mean, guys like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and Bret Hart, and, like all these people just they changed the way uh, wrestling became mainstream when these guys came out and did it. And Brutus Beefcake, Valentine. I mean, like I don't know Taker. I don't know Taker personally. I don't know. Just to clarify, I didn't know Warrior personally, and I don't know Shawn Michaels. I do know, what do you call it, Nash and Hall and all those other guys I mentioned. But what do you call? It's one of those things where, you know, uh, you know, you look up to people and you say, I could do that. You know what I mean? I could do that. It's a good story. You know what I mean? We don't have time for the whole story, but it's at the end of the day, I'm sure if somebody could find it if they look. You know what I mean? It's out there.
Wrestling is such a cool thing, and I just wanted to ask, how did you create the name Brimstone during your wrestling time?
How did I pick it?
Mm-hmm.
So, We were going to the doghouse, the Long Island Wrestling Federation, and I'm on Long Island. I lived on Long Island. They were in Brooklyn and Queens. What do you call it? And it would take like an hour, sometimes an hour and change, to get in to go to training, and then an hour and change to get home. So, I'm again. I always thought of marketing and branding. That was always always number one in my book. I have to make sure to think of something that's good. So even though when you first get into wrestling, you really shouldn't be thinking about a gimmick. You should be thinking about learning and the trade. You know what I mean? And then thinking about a gimmick. You know, me, I did it backwards. I was like, I need to think about what's going to be most memorable, what's going to be most marketable. Came up with like 1,000 names and change. And then I came down to like the top 500, the top 100, and every single time Brimstone was there, got it down to the top 10, and that's the name that just really shot out at me, and I was like, that's it, man. It's memorable, it's marketable. Even if you don't know who I am, you think you do. And what do you call it? The positive is that like the name I can do a lot with, and obviously I have. What do you call it? So that's for me that was a big thing. You know.
Pulling up your Twitter right now, if I could find it. Uh, tell me if you tell me if you can see it. Passing there. Yes. Okay. So you see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So your name there is Entrance to Hell. What is that, and like, what is that all about?
So what do you call it? Before. All right. So when internet was new. Remember, the internet, has become a big thing. Since you guys are young, the internet's always been here. The internet wasn't a thing when I was a kid. So years later, when I started doing, I got the name Brimstone and what do you call it and so forth. I never went on and got a website to begin with because it was really expensive at that time. And like I didn't think about it. I was like, all right, well, who needs a website? What's a website? So some kids wound up buying the website name, and so I lost my brimstone.com. And then people went on, and before I knew what Twitter was, they went on and they took the Brimstone name. You know what I mean? Somebody went on and did that with Instagram. Facebook, they did it too, but Facebook, they were able to give me the name. They took it from them, they gave it to me. Not everybody does the intellectual property thing, and respects that. But like right now, I finally decided with Twitter that that's an issue for me. So I actually put it in. There's a law thing going on right now with Twitter, going after them to try to give me my Brimstone name and to verify me because that's the only place I'm not verified is Twitter.
Oh yeah. Sorry, not to cut you off, but I was like, why are you not verified on there? Like you have enough followers, and there's some people who are on Twitter, and I think Twitter's verification process is so weird because I know some people with like 1,000 followers who are verified,
Yeah.
700 like that are verified, and people with like 40, like yeah, 40,000 plus, and one of my favorite voice actors has like 20,000 plus, and he can't get verified. So it's so weird how that process works.
Yeah, the process, one humans were not doing the process. It was going through like computers and what do you call it? And the thing is like, so back to the entrance to hell thing, and then you can move forward back into the Twitter thing. And so entrance to hell, entrance to hell is my finisher, Zabulba, the entrance to hell. What do you call it? Which I got from a D. Snyder movie, Strangeland. Zabulba was the name of the club, and the name of the club is Zabulba, the entrance to hell. So what do you call it? So that was a thing. Brimstone, guy from hell, whatever. It's a gimmick, guys. It's just a gimmick. I'm a Jewish guy from New York. What do you call it? We don't even believe in hell. So that being said, uh, we did our thing, and but since Brimstone wasn't there, I was like, all right, well, it's wrestling, and I didn't think forward, which normally I would do, and I wound up doing Entrance to Hell. I owned entrancetohell.com. I still do. So if you go to entrancetohell.com, it still goes to my website. But I rebuilt and I rebranded my entire site. Last year, I took it over myself. I was done, having other people handle my websites. I needed it to be current and on point, so I wound up doing the entire thing myself. What do you call it? So I went on and I set that up, and now I run my site 100%. And what do you call it? But Entrance to Hell was the site. Finally, I just said, you know what? I still can't get Brimstone. I tried getting Brimstone. I can't get it. From the people. I don't know why, I can't, go with my intellectual property there, but regardless, I have therealbrimstone.com. So the real Brimstone is too many letters for Twitter. So what do you call it? So I have the real Brimstone without the E, but I don't use that obviously because it doesn't make sense. So right now, Entrance to Hell, back onto the Twitter thing. Um, Entrance to Hell, they what do you call it? Since it's not Brimstone and it's not my real name, I think that's one of the problems that their algorithm for their what do you call it, their bots that check out how how the verification process is working. I believe what was happening is that it's it's getting confused. So that's an issue. So right now, I have a legal thing out with Twitter, and I'm waiting to see. Hopefully, they'll award me Brimstone, and then I'll just switch it from Entrance to Hell to Brimstone. It also causes an issue there because there are a lot of people that fake account me. It's like Twitter. They have so many people that use the platform. Nobody's paying attention. You know what I mean? They're looking at bigger fish. So like when people are impersonating me, it's not as big of a deal as if they're impersonating the Rock. You know what I mean? So so they don't care. You know what I mean? They don't care. We'll see. Hopefully they'll take a look and they'll make the right decision, but we don't know.
Gotta do it. They gotta do the right decision. I mean, social
Everybody,
media.
everybody's tried to. I've had people that are big players that have tried to have me verified, and even that, it's like never happens. I had what do you call it? So many people that have tried to put in for me, and just never happens. So we'll see what happens now moving forward. They're supposed to open it up again soon, and I have a couple other feelers out there. But you know what? It doesn't make or break me. It just helps.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, absolutely. Twitter is
Everywhere
kind of
else, though,
trash.
you go to Facebook. It's facebook.com/brimstone. What do you call it? I'm verified on Facebook, verified on Instagram. I'm verified on Giphy. What do you call it? We have GHR has over 1 billion uses of our gifs. You know what I mean? Which is insane. And like anywhere you look, I'm verified everywhere except for Twitter. So it's like, come on, man. Anyway.
Wishing the best on that situation. But Brim, I gotta be honest with you. I got a bone to pick with you. I got a
All right,
bone, and
let's go.
and as we start to wind down here, I have to talk about this with you because
Now you want to
I
start a
remember you
fight?
said no, because I remember you said this on Twitter, and I was like, Brimstone is tripping.
Talk about the
Something's not
Snyder
right with
cut.
Brimstone. Oh, well. You
I know
knew.
exactly what you're talking about. I don't give a damn about no damn Snyder cut. We actually talked about it. We talked about it on air for this 300th episode, also, like the whole Snyder cut thing. For me, it's not. Look, I love the characters, and I was hoping for it to be a good film to begin with. It sucked, and what do you call it? And I'm not going to invest another 4 hours into something that's just going to suck a little less. End of story. You know what I mean? Their Batman sucked. Love you, Ben Affleck. You were
No,
good.
no, 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 no. Ben Affleck is
The
the best
Batman?
Batman. He's the best
No.
Batman. Yes.
No. I'm
He's
not
better than
fighting
Christian
with you over
Bale.
this. I'm
Yes,
not
you have
fighting
to
with you
though.
over this.
You have to.
He is not the best Batman. I
Yes.
love he no. He was a very good Bruce Wayne. I liked him as Bruce Wayne. He was not a good Batman. That being said, Batman sucked. I can't stand Caviezel, whatever the hell his name is, who's doing Superman. What do you
Henry
call it? Gal
Cavill?
Gadot.
What?
Gal Gadot is cool.
Come
Gal
on.
Gadot is cool. What do you call it? But what do you call it? Number two, I heard sucked horrible. What do you
84 was
call it?
not the
Horribly.
best. Not
And
the
what do you
best.
call it? And I think that what do you call it? The Aquaman movie. He's the only person that I think could make Aquaman a cool character. What do you call it? So I had no hate there. What do you call it? Yep. Nope. He sucked as Batman. That's what I'm
No,
talking about, Sherry.
all of you are
Um,
wrong. It is
no,
fine.
and what do you call it? And at the end of the day, there's no need to have Flash in there. That guy sucks. No offense to him, it's just the character itself sucks. You got a crappy character. Why? You know what I mean? DC is inferior to Marvel. Love you, DC. I'll do anything for you to help make it better. But I'm telling you right now, everything is sucked that's come out of there, except for the Aquaman movie and the first freaking Wonder Woman movie. Everything else since the original Batman has been crap. He was the only real Batman. No, Adam West is the only real Batman. What's his face comes in next. That's it, and end the story. You can take your Val
No,
Kilmer's, go do
no.
your thing with Val Kilmer. You know what I mean? And with his nose flattened in the thing, and then what's his name sitting there and like, come on, man. Like I no, man. That's
Christian
no.
Bale. No, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because I was gonna say if you prefer Ben Affleck, if you prefer Christian Bale to Ben Affleck, I'd have to like roast you because
No,
Christian Bale is not.
no. No, but I don't. But I didn't like Ben Affleck in that. He did. Ben Affleck didn't do an awful job, but he wasn't a good Batman. He was a good Bruce Wayne. He was a great Bruce Wayne, probably one of the best Bruce Waynes. All right, but at the end of the day, the sad Batman thing didn't do it for me. And what do you call it? And as sure as hell, what's his face? Robert Pattinson is going to be the worst freaking Batman of all time. Freaking flat faced, stupid looking mofo. Like, I'm sorry, like I have no love for that guy. I don't know him personally. You might be one of the sweetest guys ever, but I'm not. I'm just not feeling you, bro. Like, not feeling you
Bro,
for Batman. I didn't feel. I don't.
no.
I don't like him in anything that he's done. The Twilight movies. Like I just. It is what it is. It's that pansexual look, I guess, that everybody happens to love. Like that, like that's it's not an insult. It's his look, like I guess, is very for the new generation. They like his look and so forth, and that's why he's done so well and done so much because he's got a look that people seem to like. His acting sucks.
Oh
You know what I
my
mean?
gosh. Brim is dissing everyone. Listen, Brim, please watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. I will. Okay, listen. Let me tell you why you need to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, all
You
right.
need to watch
You
it.
want me to watch it?
Yes.
No, I'm not going to do it. And yes, Adam West was the best. He is, and I loved you, Adam, so much. I miss you. What do you call it?
You got to meet him
What,
too.
he was another friend of mine. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
No, Adam West. I got stories, but I can't talk about them. In public. But what do you call? But Adam was a great guy, one of the best people. Burt Ward's a good guy too. Again, being around as long as I have, you get to make a lot of real, interesting friends. And you know, uh, again, back to these other guys. I have no hate for Ben Affleck. I have no hate for what's his face, Patterson. I have no
Okay.
hate for any of these guys. I'm talking about their characters in the film, and and the things that I've seen that like I'm just not a fan of. It doesn't mean that
Gotcha.
they're bad people. I just like to clarify that before people are like, oh, Brimstone doesn't like this guy, and then the next thing you know, everybody's talking about it. That's not the case. I just don't care for him as an actor. That's it. Ben Affleck is a good actor. When he's not doing G Lee and what do you call it, some other stuff. But what do you call it? But he's fantastic in a ton of the films that he's done. Otherwise, he wouldn't be where he is. He's a great actor, and anybody from the View Askew universe is a friend of mine. What do you call it? I'm very tied in with them. So what do you call it? I'm extended love to him. But
You're good. All right. Don't worry. You're gonna watch it one day. It's fine. You're gonna watch it one day. But now we're gonna get to awesome.
okay. I don't have much time. I've got to get on to another interview. So what do you
All
call it?
right.
Just so we're because I know we're going over.
Yeah, got you. Okay, so we could do this with you. It's called Weird and Wacky. It's where you have 1 minute to answer a series of random and wacky questions. No one has gotten to a record of 15 questions, although the current champion, Simon Norfleet, has answered a record of 14 questions in 1 minute. Do you think he could be the new championship holder?
If I could breathe, I'm struggling here.
Oh, yeah, I know,
Uh,
but how's he there?
yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm like all congested. Yeah, let's try it.
All right,
Where's my timer?
Oh, I do it.
Oh, so you're gonna. Oh, so okay. No, I'm saying, am I gonna be able to see the timer?
No, yeah, I don't know how to do. Hold on. Actually, can I do it? I don't think I can.
Don't
No,
worry
hold
about
on.
it. All right, let's
Yeah.
go.
All right.
All
I'm
right.
gonna start the timer in 3, 2, 1. Longest time period without taking a shower.
2-3 days.
Least favorite food.
Least favorite? Snails.
Least
Escargot.
favorite song.
Least favorite song? Anything by Kanye West.
An underrated song that you think deserves more attention.
Um, let's see. Zoom 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 da boom boom.
Favorite movie.
Young Guns.
A video game you wish you were in.
A lot of them.
What's one dumb thing you did as a kid?
Oh man, I can't say that. I peed and gave it to somebody.
Dumbest thing you did recently.
Told my wife no.
Favorite band.
What do you call it? Oh, that's the tough one. Old school Bullet Boys.
Superpower you wish you had.
Super strength.
Timer. And there's your time, Brimstone. and you gotta answer 10 questions. So you did better
You were
than the
slow.
average.
You were slow asking me though. You were slow
No, it wasn't.
asking
No, it
me.
wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Because I was
You
waiting.
were.
For you.
You need to have them on the screen so I can like know because you took too long in between.
No.
I demand a recount.
Oh
I
my
won
god.
that.
Stop.
I'm all congested. Like I can't even think straight. So I'm good. What do
It's
you call
so
it? But
good.
yeah. And
All right.
it's I couldn't hear everything. What do you call it? That's why I was stuttering a little bit. I lost.
Oh.
It's okay. But I couldn't hear when you said I wasn't sure if you said my favorite song or my least favorite song. And like I couldn't hear the whole thing. But what do you call it? Regardless, it's not an excuse. I lost. It's okay. I will demand a recount another day and we'll
Yes, you
try
will
it
be on
a
again.
different time. Yeah. And what do you call it? So there you go.
All right. Well, Brim, I know you gotta head out, and I don't know how
Yep.
much time you have left, but I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. I hope you've enjoyed your time here. I'm really glad we got to do this review because, like I said, you deserve a better platform with
Oh,
better
thank you.
screens and cameras and bells and whistles, and now you have it. So thank you so much, and I will speak to you again soon. Have an amazing rest of your day, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Brim, I guess I'll text if I can end it. How much time do you have left?
I have a couple minutes.
Okay, I got to tell you something. So I'm gonna end it and then I'll tell you. All right, guys, you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great one, guys. I will talk to y'all later. Peace. Don't forget to follow. Oh, Brim.
Follow me.
Yeah, yes. What would you like to plug before we head out?
TheRealBrimstone.com. Make sure you check it out. Hit me up on all the social media. Follow me. Engage with me, people. And also make sure you hit thegrindhouseradio.com. Remember our 300th episode. It's an epic episode. Make sure you tune in Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard to anywhere you listen to podcasts or thegrindhouseradio.com.
All right, guys. See y'all later. All right,